Let's take a deep breath. And just breathe and relax. And get your breath into a rhythm. 4 seconds in, 6 to 8 seconds out. So that the body can find some balance and some relaxation, homeostasis. And focus on your heart, not just your physical heart, but your energetic heart. The energy of you, which cannot be contained by your physical body. The energy of you that people feel when they think of you, pray for you, when you enter a room. That which precedes you and which lingers after you have left physical space. And I invite you to take physical and mental and emotional inventory. How do you feel, really feel this morning? What's going through your head? What's your body saying to you today? What are all these facets of you asking for? What messages might you be ignoring or not recognizing? For the all there is, God, Spirit, the universe, divine mind, divine intelligence is always communicating with us, calling us forward to our highest and best. We have only to tune in and to listen, to recognize the voice that always speaks. So I invite you to be open and curious now about this journey we will take together for the next hour or so. Be open and curious about what life has for you, for we are always at the tip of the iceberg. There's always more, so much more. So much more that we can embody, remember about who we are and what we are, whose we are. And in every stage of our development, we are perfect, whole, and complete. And as we grow, as we expand, it is all perfect. It's just a matter of remembering the fullness of who we are. Everything is within us. Everything has been given us. And so with this fullness of life and fullness of recognition, a fullness of peace and joy, in this moment we sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer. Reading from 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. This is a reading from June 26, entitled, "This is the Best Day of My Life." I have faith in an unlimited God, my own unlimited possibility, and an unlimited world in which I function. I see all restrictions as temporary negative experience which can be healed by my highest thought of God. Today I am determined to live as a free agent of an unlimited mind that knows only my possibility and is not interested in my own wrong beliefs. God wants me to express him today. God has not finished creating, and his plan for me unfolds with certainty and with precision. I let mind, with a capital M, be in me what it has planned to be, and my success is sure. This 24 hours is my opportunity to prove the reality of truth. At every moment, the mind of God leads me into my good. I am never forsaken and never left alone. No human opinions can govern me, and no wrong decisions can be made. By my recognition of God as my own real self, the one presence actually controls my environment, and divine mind dominates my thinking. This negates all evil, and I am free to express perfect life. I behold myself as a successful outlet of divine ideas and a joyous creator of lasting benefits. I think rightly of God, of myself, and of my fellow man. Today I am born afresh of the Spirit. No past beliefs hold me in bondage, for God in this day knows only the good of this day. His mind in me holds no carryovers from yesterday. My past mistakes are nullified, and I shall never again believe in two powers and their relevant disunity. I have one God, and that one is the power in me to produce for me what I select. I have good cheer, for I see nothing but good before me. Today is the day of victorious results, bringing to pass greater demonstrations than I have ever known before. Prosperity of all kinds is mine, because I let divine mind produce it for me.
Hello, everybody. Today's word of the day is reality, from Inspiration Moment, 365 Science of Mind. The hidden wisdom of God is the knowledge that we are one with the divine being. This wisdom, which is hidden from us until we perceive our fundamental unity with reality, is clearly revealed when we seek the eternal in everything. The masters who have penetrated the mystery of life that so often eludes the intellect are those who, with utmost simplicity, have found direct approach to the supreme reality at the center of their own soul. This calls for recognition of the Spirit as an indwelling presence, as well as overshadowing power. The road to self-discovery often calls for the clearing away of the underbrush of ignorance, fear, suspicion, and sense of isolation that has made us feel that we are unworthy, unholy, and lost. In the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. We do not save that which was lost. We merely discover that which needs to be found. So true. If you'll repeat the affirmation with me 3 times, please. Every day I discover and embrace more of my perfection. Every day I embrace more of my perfection. Every day I discover and embrace more of my perfection. Thank you.
Yeah, I had a plan for this talk, and now it's.
Hey, we're along for the ride, sis.
Let me see what's coming up here. So, when I started school, when I decided I was going to take a class, I didn't know the end game. I didn't get in because I thought I was going to graduate in 2 years. I had people tell me that it was to talk to Emerson Theological Institute and see if I could get the 7 years that I had at the time here, the work that I had done here, to satisfy some credits. I had heard that, but the process had not started. So I thought, okay. But I knew, the only thing I knew at the beginning of this was that I wanted that class. So I heard the teacher talk about it, and he introduced it, and I thought, okay, I'm doing this. And had no plan, just knew I was starting. And so it's important that we pay attention to Spirit's urgings, promptings, the messages that we hear, because I heard it as he was speaking about the class, and I was sitting in a conference 2 years ago, the same conference I just left Friday, and thought, sure, okay, Spirit, here we go. We're doing this. And with most things, most promptings that I get from Spirit, that's my thought. Because whenever I hear things from Spirit, most of the time they don't make logical sense. Or there's no plan. So I just hear and I think, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why. Why? Spirit, can I know the why? But that takes about half a second now. It used to be where I would mull over that a very long time and really have to think about why Spirit taking me here and what is the game plan, what could be the game plan, and then I form about 10 to 15 game plans in my mind about where I think Spirit might be taking me and what this whole thing's about and how I'm going to be able to do this and how it's going to fit into my life. And now I don't do that because I know Spirit makes a way. Spirit just makes a way, and somehow it gets done. So the interesting thing is, I could not quite perceive how I was going to fit that class and everything that went into it into my life. Because I was already busy. And there is no extra time. There is no time where I'm going to be less busy. I've been waiting for that day for 67 years. That day has not shown up yet in my life where there is plenty of time to do something I can throw myself into. So it just happens. And this time I just said, okay, we're going for it. And so I have class every week, 3 hours on a Wednesday, and there's going to be homework. I'm going to have to do a paper every single week, and I'll figure it out. And I did. Or it just happened. I don't know that I figured anything out. I just went with the plan. And I went with the flow. And things kept coming in. Some weeks there were 60 pages to read. Sometimes there was 80 or 100 pages to read. Sometimes it was all science. It was all quantum physics. And my brain just shut off around page 5 of all that explanation. And again, I had to go with it because at some point, I not only have to show up in class with some kind of thought about what I read, but I also had to figure out, what does this mean for my life? How am I going to use this stuff? Because that was the requirement at the beginning. Question everything, and I want to know what you think about this for your life. Even if you throw it all out and say, the heck with all that stuff, I think it's hogwash, you got to know why you think it's hogwash. You have to have an opinion. about it. So our class was on Wednesday. Everything was always due Tuesday night. So sometimes, thank God he was in California, because that gave me 2 hours grace to be able to get something in. If he had been in Central Time, I would have been late 3/4 of the time. So eventually, so it's like most things in life for me now, where I have to tune into spirit and find out. I need to get quiet. I need to go into the solitude and just be there for a while until something comes. So a lot of times I was at my computer on paper writing, paper due night, waiting for something to come through my brain, my heart, and then end up through my fingers into the keyboard and into a paper and then send it in. And that just happened week after week after week. So it was 30 weeks the first year, and then 30 weeks the second year. And 30 weeks is a long time. And when you start it, you never think you're getting to the end. You just, because you can't comprehend 30 weeks of this, of constant barrage of thought and information and having to process and write and debate, not debate, but to be with classmates and to hear their insight, share your insight. A lot of times I would hear somebody's insight and then mine would get blown out of the water, and in the moment I got to figure out, what do I feel now about this stuff? So it was all a process of trust. Of trust, that this is something is going to come to me. And it didn't always come at a convenient time. It didn't always come when the teacher called on me. There were times when he called on me and he, Kim, what do you think? And I just thought, dude, I got nothing in the moment. And thank goodness he's such a wonderful teacher. He was fine with that. And at some point I would come back and I would have something. But in the moment, I would not. So I just had to be honest and say, this is where I am with it. I don't know what I think, because it's a lot. I mean, we talked about the nature of life. What is life? And what is awareness? And what is existence? And what is consciousness? And what is God? Is God consciousness? Is God not consciousness? Is God life? Is God everything? Is God not everything? If it's not everything, then what is God? And what have you been taught? And where did you come from? And what do you think now? Did this blow everything out of the water? Do you have any water? Do you even know where you are? Do you know why in your class? And all of us are sitting there horrified that he was going to call on us at some point. You could see us all holding our breath, because he would just throw out a question about, okay, what do you think? What is consciousness? Again, dude, what? Why are you calling on me? I don't know. But it was interesting. Then at some point, we just got comfortable laughing at ourselves and our reactions to being called on and being asked certain questions. So it's interesting how this paralleled life for me, because I do think we have to show up kind of with something in our minds about what's going to happen, and then life happens, and then we have to adjust. And then something... if we're trusting, something shows up within us that works. I start my day every day with a plan. I have a list of tasks in the app that I use, and it never fails that during the day I got to move stuff around because something else happens, or something comes in, or something took longer than I thought, or something can't happen because other things just throw a wrench in my works completely, or my whole day goes up in smoke, and I think, okay, I guess I'm doing those some other day. And then I find my way with whatever I have inside me for that's presented to me. So it was the exact same thing. At some point that first year, I had to put together a summary of everything I accomplished here in 7 years. That was no small feat. So I sent that all in, and then they said, okay, we want to know about other work-life experiences. Like, what books have you read? Oh my gosh, that list. I've read like 1 million books over my life, most of which I don't know. Thank goodness, years ago, I started a list of books that I had read, which I couldn't find at the point. So I took a picture of all the books I have left, because if I kept every book I ever read, I would need a mansion to put them all in, and they probably still would not fit. So I just took pictures of what I had, and thank God for Quentin. He started making a list of the titles. I took pictures of the spines, and he went down and he copied all the titles and the authors. And then I got that in, and then I just had to let it go. And I thought, all right, I'm still in this class. I'm still moving. I don't know what's going to happen. And at some point, they came back, and they said, okay, we're starting to qualify you for something. And I thought, ooh, we're really doing this, and we're doing this for real now. We're doing this. I was already in it for credit because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I didn't want to be in the class not for credit and then find out later on I could have had all these credits. So I was in it for credit, and they said, okay, we're qualifying you for something, but I didn't know what I was qualified for. So October of last year, when I went to the conference, everybody was lined up for graduation, not me, because I don't know I've qualified for anything. So I came in, and the graduates were all at the door, and everybody said, Kim, where were you? I was at the hotel. I'm coming in to watch graduation. They said, no, you're graduating. No, I'm not. Nobody told me I'm graduating. Well, apparently they had qualified me for a master's, but didn't tell me. I mean, it would have been nice. Just details. I don't need to know that. But all the paperwork I was supposed to get didn't come. So I'm just sitting in the audience, and apparently somebody else didn't get the message. So during graduation, they're calling my name, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't know about this. No, it's not me. It's not me. Well, obviously it was, but again, they didn't communicate well. So I got in the second class, Advanced Consciousness. And it's not real a level 2. It was a continuing exploration of consciousness. You would think you'd get it in 30 weeks. Well, no. There's another 30 weeks to talk about consciousness. We had different books and different authors and different things that we talked about, even though it was still related to God and consciousness and what is it and who are we, what is our relationship to God and consciousness. If we are God, and at this point I am definitely exploring and embodying this I am God thing, which took the whole 60 weeks, both years, to finally get to that. So, my ideas are changing. And so the things that I asserted in year 1, I could not assert in year 2 because all this growth is happening. And I'm starting to articulate the fact that I am God and where I'm getting that from, and surprised along the way that I could make that assertion and kind of make it sound like it worked, like it was logical. But most of it was associated with what I felt and what resonated, because I was embodying it at the time. Quantum physicists will tell you that quantum physics hurts the brain, and it hurts their brains, and they don't know what to think of it. And some will tell you, who are open now and who don't mind going in that direction, will tell you there is something to feel here which other quantum physicists will not admit or don't believe. But some will say that this is that there's an energy in the world that thinks and feels, has an intelligence, and there's an order and a synchronicity, and there are things happening that cannot be explained, but we watch it happening in experiments. And we can't tell you what it means, and again, like I've said before, we won't tell you what we think it means, because then we open a can of worms, a big can of worms. And so it's left to us. What do we think and what do we feel? So many times, many weeks when homework was due, I had to leave what I thought and then bring out what it is that I felt. And sometimes that's a hard journey. It's a hard journey with things in life, isn't it? That we're going through something and something's hitting us in the face and we know what it is, but admitting what we feel about it is hard. Deciphering what we feel about it, because sometimes it's not just one thing you feel. Sometimes our feelings are multi-layered. So we can have confusion about something, but still have it feel like home on a particular level. That I don't know what I think about this, and that confuses me, but this kind of feels like it's right. And then we get anxious about the fact that it doesn't fit well together. And then we run with the anxiety for a while instead of settling in. That whole journey, those 2 whole years were that for me. That I'm sitting in here in this highly scientific, it feels like, subject, but I'm being asked to feel it and to know it and to live it. So how do I do all that? And so many days I just abandoned what I think and went with what I felt. So somewhere within the second year, I felt that all we were talking about was God. Every last bit of it. That this is God for me. And all I know is I feel it. It makes no logical sense, even though if I'm going to say that God is omnipresent and God is everything, then God is the all there is. Period. And so then I had people throw in questions. Friends, if I was talking about what I was going through or what I was reading, would say, well, what about hate and violence? Is God that? And if I'm saying God is everything, then I'm saying, yes, God is. And at the same time, God is also love. At the same time, God is love. And I don't know how that works out. All I know is that I believe and I feel that love is greater than all the other stuff in the universe, in life. I think life now is a process of engaging the brain and then at some point leave the brain alone and go here to the heart. And science even now is saying that the heart, the physical heart, communicates more with the brain than the brain communicates with the heart. And then I go, oh, thank you for affirming my hypothesis. I needed that. Heart-brain coherence, we hear so much about that now. That's all over the place now, if we're open to it. Heart-brain coherence. Experiments about consciousness mattering, and that intention matters. And then if you pray for peace, and you say in your prayer that your prayer for peace will join with other prayers of peace that are out in the world, that expands prayers for peace, and that they must have an effect on the consciousness of the world. It's amazing stuff. So I'm taking all this in and just going and trusting. I don't know what's going to happen. Now I'm hearing, okay, I probably found out in the spring of this year that I was qualified for a doctorate and the master's, which I qualified before. But I didn't know the doctorate was happening until a couple of months ago. So this whole time I had to let it go that it would happen or not. And that if it happened or didn't happen, it was for my highest and best. And that perhaps there might be other classes I would have to take. So I could not hold on to doctorate being the end game until August, actually, when my book was done, and that was accepted. And then they said, oh, by the way, you have to take a test. And then I took the test, and then that was accepted. And that was probably a month and a half ago. So 60 whole weeks and a whole lot of work. And I had to learn not to white knuckle this, because yes, I wanted it, but I had to let go of the fact that this might not be the time. This might not be the year. And I've come a long way with not wanting to control life and not holding on to things the way I want to hold on to them and letting Spirit work and trusting that it's going to work for my highest and best no matter what happens. I'm so much better at that. But the whole time I was just keeping my eyes and my ears open and my heart open. That's going to happen perfectly and it'll all be good. So I'm amazed still that I could get to August, September before I knew for sure. But that also seems to parallel my life. That I have to let go of things, and I can't white knuckle it, or I can, but then it's stressful, and it's painful, and it's exhausting. And so just let what's going to work in the universe. And I believe that what I have in my mind, what I have in my heart, rather, those desires of my heart are being met, but possibly and most often not the way I think they're going to be met. Not in the timeline I think they're going to be met. And I don't know if that's because I'm being taught to let go, and I've asked for that teaching. Please let me let go of this desire for control, because control is hard. It always has been for me. Maybe control works for you, and maybe you can be relaxed and want to control it all. Always did the opposite for me. Always wiped me out. Always, always, always. And it never helped the end game. Never. I got to the end game and usually was sick and couldn't enjoy whatever was happening at the end of whatever road I was on. So being able to let go constantly, I probably asked for that teaching somewhere before time began. I said, I want to learn how to not be a control freak. Please give me multiple opportunities on a regular basis to learn not to control life. And it's happening, and it's better. And it's more, I have more joy at the end of whatever it is that's happening to me. So can we let go? And can you just enjoy the ride for the ride every single day, every single moment? Can you just enjoy it, even though you don't know what the heck's going to happen? Can you just be in it and trust so implicitly that the desires of your heart are going to be met and let go 100%? Can we? That's the ultimate question. If somebody had told me that I was going to have to wait until 6 weeks or 8 weeks before graduation to graduate, I probably would have been okay with it because I was along that path. But I would have said, oof, okay, let me take some deep breaths. I'm going to be breathing deeply a whole lot for the next 2 years. And then I find myself sitting there last Thursday in a graduation ceremony thinking, this is happening. This is happening. Oh my God, it's happening. I must have said that sentence 500 times that day. Whew, it's happening. So I'm getting dressed to go over there thinking, whew, this is happening. We're in there in graduation, in rehearsal, okay, this is happening. Wow, this is happening. Oh my God, this is happening. This is really happening. Ooh, this is happening. This is really happening. People say, how you doing? This is happening. It's happening, people. It's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. I'm sitting there and I get ready to call my name because, I'm an Andrew, starts with an A, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is happening. I'm going up. And as I'm up there and I'm going through and then they're handing me certificates and then I'm being hooded, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, this is wonderful. Yeah. But I could thoroughly be in it and relaxed. I was saying earlier this morning, I thought I was going to be nervous, but I just felt grounded and loved and present and relaxed. And yes, this is for me. Yes, this is me. Yes, I'm holding this. Yes, this is holding me. I thought of my parents and my sister who are, have passed away a long time ago. I felt them with me, and not in a, oh my God, this is a void. They're not here to watch me graduate. It wasn't that. It was, oh my gosh, they're here with me. Oh my gosh, I felt them all over me, sitting there waiting for my name to be called. And I thought, oh, this is great. This is great. They're here. And this is happening. Mom and Dad, it's happening. Look at your little girls. This is happening. And so it's amazing. I think that if I had white-knuckled that whole journey, Thursday afternoon would have been a different experience. So when we trust and we just go with spirit and let go, there's more joy. There's more satisfaction. There's more knowing, more presence that this is me and this is mine. Last week we talked about that scripture. I came so that you might have life and have it to the full. Thursday, I was full. And today I'm still feeling that fullness. So it hasn't gone away. Where I wake up and in moments I think, I feel solid but not heavy. Full. To have life in full. I came that you might have life. And I don't know that I could articulate what life is in all of this, what I was feeling, other than that groundedness and that feeling spirit and life and my parents and knowing the journey and all that I went through. I was feeling this gratefulness, this overwhelming gratitude that I was still alive because I went through that health journey, through that whole thing, and I thought, so by the time now that we're here, we're talking about a year and a half since I was diagnosed. And all of that happened while I was in my second year. All of that happened. And when I went up on that stage, I thought, I am still not just alive, but I'm physically thriving. I didn't know that a year and a half ago. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know, even though I wanted life, that first day, diagnosis day, I didn't know that. I didn't know I would be here 16 months later. But I let go and I let God. I let God and I let go. I let God and I let go. And here I was sitting there. That's what I felt, was that fullness of life. Every single thing that I had been through in those 2 years showed up in that moment, in that hour of graduation. And I felt all of that. And that's what trusting can do for us. Letting go, letting God and letting go, that's what it can do. Bring you to the desires of your heart so that as you're on the journey and when you get to that end, whatever that end piece is, for that particular thing on your path, you will feel life in the full. You'll feel it, but maybe not be able to mentally comprehend it. And I think that's fine. Because I think the heart is indeed greater than the brain. The brain is a mechanism. And it's a fascinating, wonderful, magnificent tool. But consciousness and the heart are so much more. They're so much more. And the brain can't always go there because the physical brain is limited, and it's consciousness that rules the brain. It is consciousness, your consciousness, that rules your brain. So let your consciousness, let your heart take care of this physical glob of stuff that does these incredible things, but it can do more incredible things if you will let your consciousness and your heart work. And dive in there and have life and have it to the full. Let's take this into meditation. So again, I ask, like so many Sundays, how deeply do you trust? Can you let God and let go? Can you dive in to whatever it is you're called to in the moment and not have it figured out and not know what it's about, but know that because Spirit prompted you, or your higher consciousness, whatever you want to call it, that you simply say yes because you're being urged forward by Spirit? Can you say yes without having any answers? Can you say yes without being able to formulate a question about what it is you're being called to? Can you just let it fly? Can you just fly on the wings of Spirit's urging and stay in discovery all the way through? As I often ask, can you stay in the questions? Can you stay in the wonder? Can you be in wonder and curiosity because you've got nothing else figured out? But you trust Spirit so implicitly that your answer is always yes. How deeply do you trust? How deeply do you trust? How deeply do you trust? And what is it in your life right now that is calling you forward, that is urging you forward, and you're grappling with trusting? Can you in this moment say yes without knowing where it's going, how long it's going? the manner that it's going? Can you simply go? Knowing and trusting that in the end, the desires of your heart will be answered. And that you will feel life, the fullness of life, in that moment of recognition when you say, it has happened. How deeply do you trust? Can you let God and let go? Can you let God let go? Will you let God and let go? So I invite you in this moment, in your heart of hearts, ask that question. Will I let go, God and let go? I'm trusting more. I'm trusting with all I've got. I'm trusting with all I've got. Can you trust with all you've got? Open your arms wide. Unclench your fists. Say yes. Yes. And yes again and again, every moment of that journey. So let's take a breath in and exhale. And with every breath and with every exhale, you are trusting more. You are letting go more. You're surrendering more. Inhaling. Exhale. Knowing that that which has urged you forward is all powerful and that you are that power. And that everything you need to walk this journey is within you, is waiting for you to call upon it and say, yes, let's go. Let's go. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.